morning. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I am Uncle Tash. I am here with Rob. And supposedly, well, reportedly, the Yankees and Yamamoto have met again. It was at Yamamoto's request. So, Rob, I know your time is limited, so I want to get your take on it as much as possible. How are you feeling that they had a second meeting at his request?
I think it's a good thing, a really good thing. Now we know he requested the Mets meeting as well, but what did Martino say? It was hastily put together, but we heard last week that there was a second meeting planned. So I don't know who to believe at this point. Um, but we've been hearing from the start that this is like the Yankees are the favorites. The Yankees are the favorites. They're the team to beat. That's according to Morosi this morning. He said that the Yankees are the team to beat. Um, so like our confidence level should still be high, but we should still be aware of like the Mets are making a strong push. The Dodgers and the Red Sox are still in it. So I think right now the fact that he wanted to meet with the Yankees again, it can only mean a good. It can only be a good thing. Initially, I'm like, oh, what if he's telling them they're out, but he wouldn't meet them face to face? That'd be a phone call thing from the agent. Um, so I think it's a good thing. Let's just hope that by the end of the week we got him. That's really all we can do is just sit back and wait. We've waited long enough. What's another week, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to happen this week. I had said it a couple weeks ago when we were first trying to figure out, how many days, we were counting the 45. I predicted it would be done before the holiday. Everybody's going to want to have this wrapped up, go home for the holidays in a better mood, um, especially since, they only have until the 4th. I don't think they want this lingering over the holidays between Christmas and New Year's. So I think that they had the second meeting. What I like about when I heard that, what I liked about it the most is it's given the Yankees an opportunity to either adjust their offer, counter offer what other teams were doing. I think this bodes very well in the Yankees' favor.
Yeah, and I don't think we've reached the stage of teams offering him a contract yet, because apparently the Mets still haven't offered him a contract. But you would think after two meetings they'd probably be talking figures at least. So we might be getting to that point right now. He's still on the East Coast. Like maybe he meets with Boston again in Toronto. Maybe he go up there to Canada. Does he go back to the West Coast and talk to the Dodgers again? And I think if he has a second round of meetings, then it's just going to be a matter of waiting until he picks the top offer. Right now, the Yankees still are the favorites amongst most of the teams. The Dodgers are right there. The Mets are right there.
Yeah.
And I've been saying it from the start. The Red Sox are a sneaky threat here because they need pitching so desperately and they have money. And I would not shock me if he went to Boston, although it would pain me to see him in a Red Sox uniform. But yeah, I'm still feeling good though. I'm still feeling good about this. I know a lot of people feel good about it. It's just now we're just kind of like at that stage of I'm refreshing Twitter every 5 seconds, just hoping to see like a Rosenthal or passing tweet like Yankees get Yamamoto. But let's just hope it's the case because this dude's going to be electric.
Yeah, no, it really is. The numbers that there have been some contract offers circulated, no, nothing official. It is being reported that he's being offered around the 300 million mark with 9-10 years attached to it. I think it's going to be whoever has the best sell, and it's going to also come down to what the incentives are, and other perks that might be in the contract. Whether it's milestones, innings pitched, stuff like that you'll see sometimes where it gets a little creative. So that's going to come into play as well. And good morning, Donald. So I think that the 300 million mark is where teams are sitting. You're not hearing specifics from teams. I have not. Somebody has said that the Red Sox had already offered a contract, but then there were reports that they hadn't met yet. So there's just a lot. The waiting game is throwing a lot of information out there. Not all of it's going to be credible. I think we need to be very cautious on what we believe. Donald, what do you think? We were talking. We opened up with the second meeting with Yamamoto, how it was at his request. Um, how do you think that? Where does that help the Yankees at this point? Does that increase their chances, or is it just business?
It increased our chances, in my opinion. In no world do I see a scenario where a player requests to have a second meeting with you, and for that to be a bad thing. That would just not be. I mean, if there was a scenario where it was like a thanks but no thanks, that would be done over a phone call. He's meeting with the Yankees again because he seriously wants to come here, I think. But he's obviously getting some fantastic offers elsewhere, hence why the second meeting. So no doubt, because he obviously met the Mets first. I love the fact that he met the Yanks second, last. You can make more of an impression on the last visit than the first visit. So I think that's a good thing. I don't necessarily. There's obviously on Twitter, people are saying he's playing both sides. I don't think he's necessarily doing that. I don't think that's him. I think that's his agent. I think his agent is doing a fantastic job, and obviously you can tell because that's what he put on Instagram. That his agent is like a super agent. His agent is working this thing fantastic because his agent is smart. He has got the guy who basically everyone in baseball wants, right? And few can get. So, it's going down to the elite teams that have money, and we're all scrapping for him. The Yankees have the leg up because not only do they have the financial wherewithal, but they also have the prestige, and not just the prestige, but they are the most marketable asset outside of the United States. So that means there's going to be a lot of Japanese coverage. And then not just that, but because we've had such a great relationship with Japanese players in the past. So all that is in our favor. In the Mets' favor, they've got unlimited resources, unlimited money. So whatever we offer, they can offer more, right? That's the only thing that they've got to offer. And as for the Dodgers are legitimate because they got in Ohtani. And they have a ridiculous super team. So they're a threat, and they also have the money now because of Ohtani's moving the money around so that they actually have enough funds to go and continue to get better and better. It's pretty terrifying what the Dodgers can do. So obviously the Dodgers for me are the Yankees' main rival in this situation, but I'd be shocked if he'd actually want to play second fiddle to Ohtani. Why would you want to play second fiddle when you're easily good enough to be the main guy? And I think he would be the main guy in New York beside Garrett Cole. I don't know why he'd want to play second fiddle to his countrymen. That would be something that I'd be very surprised at and disappointed in if that would be the case. I still believe he's a Yankee. You don't request a second meeting unless you want to come here, in my opinion. Otherwise, it would be done by a phone call. Thanks for no thanks. Appreciate it. There's just an offer. It's too good to turn down. It's not that. He wants to come here, hence him reaching out to try and find a way in which to... I think it's probably a situation where the Mets have offered more than we have. And he's coming back to the table with us going, right, they have this such and such an offer. Is there a way that we can even this up in order for me to come here? I think it's that rather than anything else. I think it's probably very similar to what the Aaron Judge, Padres, Giants, Yankees situation was, where Aaron Judge was like, right, so the Padres have this offer. If you can give me a ninth year, job done kind of a thing. I think it'd be something like that. But we will wait and see. But I think Yamamoto's going to come here. I'm more confident than I was after once I found out that he came back and made a second request to meet us again. That for me confirms to me that he wants to come here.
Yeah, I don't want to be negative, but the Yankees aren't the only team that he's met with for a second time. So is it possible he's just trying to Is he that undecided where he's going through the rounds again?
Well, as I say, I think his agent is the one that's playing this very smart.
They're doing their due diligence. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, he's got an incredibly marketable asset who everybody in baseball wants. It would be only smart to have second meetings lined up with them. I still feel that it helps the Yankees, though, because, again, I don't think that you would have a second meeting. And the fact that it was scheduled after the Mets meeting probably says to me that the Yankees still have higher priority to him than the Mets do. It's just I still think the Mets have probably offered a lot more than we have. Hence why he's giving them a second chance. Cohen's going all out because the only thing the Mets have to offer is Steve Cohen. So Steve Cohen is meeting him for lunch, meeting him for breakfast. He's probably sending him flowers. He's probably sending him bouquets of flowers. He's probably got a Valentine's card ready for him for February. Early Valentine's gift. I love you. Come to me, please, because I've got nothing else. This team sucks. Please come here. Right? That's what Steve Cohen's doing. So that's what he's doing. Why he would want to go to the Mets, I still have no idea. But the Mets have unlimited resources. They can continue to pile on the money, more money. It's going to be very hard to turn down. The Yankees have everything else to offer, as well as money. So I still don't think there's any competition between the Yankees and the Mets, but the Dodgers are serious. The fact that he's deferred all that money is kind of scary. But again, the one thing that we have in that favor is that he wouldn't have to play second fiddle to his countrymen, which I don't see any scenario where he'd want to be.
Well, what do you think about the round of second meetings? I know it looks good for the Yankees, but the fact that he's meeting with the other teams as well, what do you think?
Well, he's doing, like you said, due diligence, and his agent's doing a good job because even though this is kind of unprecedented, this is a guy that has never pitched in the major leagues, and we're talking about this dude getting $300 million or more. Like he's approaching the richest contract to ever be given out to a pitcher, and he's never pitched in the major leagues. Like this is unprecedented. This is an unprecedented thing that we're seeing, but that's how good he is, and that's how good that people think he's going to be. Like I was watching from Pitching Ninja earlier, like the way his curveball moves. He called it a yo-yo curveball, and it's exactly how it looks. Like it's unbelievable how that thing just drops at the last second. And people were questioning, like, oh, is Senga stuff going to translate? Well, Senga had a fantastic season last year, and you would think Yamamoto is even better than that. So what's Yamamoto going to be? So yeah, if he's going to get he's going to take all these offers. He's going to take all those second meetings. I think you'll only see them from the teams that are seriously in it. So it could be Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Dodgers. Does he take a second meeting from Philly? I don't know. Does Toronto get involved? San Francisco, are they involved? But he's smart because he knows he's the prize right now.
Yeah.
Outside of Ohtani, he's the prize because we still haven't seen Bellinger sign. His market's plummeting, and he was expected to get a lot of money. We haven't seen that yet. Chapman hasn't signed. Montgomery hasn't signed. Everyone's waiting to see what Yamamoto gets. And then I think the rest of the market's going to continue, and then you'll see things speed up. But he's in control right now because nothing is happening. Jeff Passan put out that tweet yesterday of how much teams have spent. The Dodgers have spent $700+ million on one player and Glass now, essentially, but everybody else is just kind of like not a lot of money. The Yankees have spent $0 in free agency. That will change if we get Yamamoto. We would be second on that list, but there are still some big names out there, and he's the prize. He is the guy that everybody wants, but only so few can actually afford, and that's what makes it so interesting. So yeah, he's gonna soak this all in. He is the prize right now in free agency, and he's the marketable guy because he's gonna make his team in Japan a lot of money. He's gonna make himself a lot of money, and he's gonna make his major league team a lot of money. So he's a 25-year-old superstar that's gonna come over here and be immediately treated like such. And he's going to be the number 2 behind Garrett Cole, or he's going to be the number 1 on the Mets, or he's going to be the number 1 guy on the Dodgers until Ohtani starts pitching. Yeah, this dude's a superstar already, and he hasn't even took the field in a major league game. So he's soaking it all in, and he should be. So I'm just hoping that it all comes down to it. He's in Yankee pinstripes, and we can finally start getting ready for spring training. But right now, this is the waiting game for Yamamoto. And once it's finished, you'll see the Bellingers and the Chapmans and Montgomery. They're all going to sign. I think it'd be kind of quick, not like a free agent frenzy thing. But once Yamamoto is done with, you're going to see the rest of the market really just start to pick up a little bit.
It's really interesting.
Mike Rivera's point here. Credit here. Good point. That's about other teams having second meetings. Love your objectivity. It makes the show better. I do believe that we're all quite objective. It's just that I'm being honest. I don't know what else the Mets have to offer other than Steve Cohen, because they don't have the cachet that the Yankees have. They don't have the history that the Yankees have. They don't have the relationship with the Japanese market and the Japanese players that the Yankees have. So the one thing that they have is unlimited resource. I think that is objective. Rob, what would you say to that?
No, you're right. And you can call it just, being a fan and having the confidence, but I haven't seen anything to make me feel that we're not the favorites. Because everybody, when you hear about the Yankees, and I got to go after I say this, but when you hear about the Yankees' interest, it's cautious optimism, or they feel good, or the Yankees are the favorites, or they're the co-favorites. The Yankees are the team to beat. Those are actual quotes from these reporters. When you hear about it from the Mets, it's like the Mets are still in it. The Dodgers are a legit threat. Then that this team so-and-so is in it. The Red Sox are in it, but the Yankees are always being labeled as the top. So why wouldn't we have confidence in the team getting him? But we also have to acknowledge, because I've been saying Boston from the get-go is a legitimate threat. I've been saying the Mets are a threat because of the money. And the Dodgers, now that they save so much money on Ohtani, they can go get Yamamoto and still be under the tax, that Cohen tax, which is ridiculous. So there are threats out there, but until we hear the Yankees are not the favorite anymore, we have to be confident that we're going to get this guy. So I will leave it at that, because I have to go back to work. So I want to say to everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to keep watching for Tats and Donald's takes on this. Hopefully we get Yamamoto. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on the push to 500 subs. We're getting close. We've been killing it. All of us have been killing it. So thank you again. And I'll be back for Wednesday's show. Hopefully we have Yamamoto by then. Peace out, Joe.
Salute, Rob.
All right. Have a good day, Rob. No, and Rob's right. It's really a waiting game, and all the teams are involved. The Yankees have been aggressive, and it's Angelo puts in the comments here, and we're going to get to some of your comments. We were not ignoring you. I knew Rob was on a limited time frame, so we wanted to get as much of his take as we could. So they have been making a lot of moves to get international money. I think that is something that the Yankees have been very good with doing, and putting that money to good use. We might not have had the best development of players, but when it comes to finding talent on the international market, the Yankees have had, they've been at the top for that.
That's right, man. So I just also want to say there's so many people in the chat, so many great messages. So I just want to say, I echo what Rob's saying. Big salute to all of you guys. Without you guys, would there be no show here? So
the roll call is going to get longer and longer as the
I know
season
goes. It'll be an episode long roll call. So at the moment, I just want to say a big salute to all you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are the goats.
We do have some new names to us, and we appreciate everybody jumping in. So we have Post FF goes, Yamamoto will go wherever the highest bid is. From what I've heard, he prefers the Yankees, but he's not going to pass on the Mets for $25 million more.
Makes sense.
No, and he'd be not that he'd be dumb to go to the Mets. Look, if he's looking for the best contract, yeah, you're going to go to where the most money is. It's just one of the it all depends on really where does he see him making the most money and having the most success. And it really both lead to the Yankees and the Dodgers, right? And both teams have the money to do it. So it's going to become very interesting. He hasn't been here in a while, so we'll shout out. And yeah, Andy Martino. If that's the real Andy Martino, holy crap! But that thanks for your comments. Thanks for joining us. Hope you are enjoying the show, like you said.
I do believe that the Yankees are the front runners. I do, but I'm not dismissing that the Mets have an owner who is extremely motivated to A, get one over the Yankees because he knows how badly the Yankees want him, and B, he needs a face of the franchise, right? Because his other moves haven't worked. Pete Alonso is good, but he's like a 190, 200 hitter, no matter how much power he's got, which is fine. But he hasn't put that team to the next pantheon. He's just not that guy. And the rest of the moves, Lindor hasn't worked. He's a good shortstop, but not for that money. So he needs a face of the franchise. Ohtani would be the face of the franchise. So he's probably selling Ohtani on the fact that he can make the Mets his own. Whereas if Ohtani, he could sell Yamamoto on making his own legacy in New York for the Mets.
Yeah.
Whereas for here, he's got Aaron Judge and Soto and Garrett Cole and a whole bunch of stars. So he could sell that to Yamamoto that he'd be his own guy, he'd be the face of the franchise. Yeah, Sean, I know the Mets have Alonso, but Alonso is really good, but has he really taken that next step with them, helped them get to that next level? I haven't seen that from him. So he doesn't necessarily concern me overly. I think Yamamoto could be the face of the Mets. That's what Cohen's going all in for. But they just do not have what the Yankees have. And everything else.
I think both, when you compare the Mets and the Yankees, it's not even, it's of course it's fan versus fan. We can't wait to be able to, go to the Met fans and be like, ha, ha, ha. And they can't wait to come to us and say, ha, ha, ha. Because both teams are trying to flex on this. But when you're thinking about stars that come from Japan, these are, I think D-Rob put it in the comments. These are, 1% of the best are coming over here. Okay. So it's when you're looking at wanting to win, wanting to be the most competitive, right, and putting themselves up to the challenge, the Yankees just have the better roster constructed at this point. There's still a long way to opening day. Right? A lot of changes can happen. But when you look at the rosters, the way that the Mets and the Yankees are constructed, the Yankees have the edge where they can come off as the more competitive team, the team that's ready to win now. The Mets, they had to take a step back, right? And look, I'm not saying this as a rip on the Mets. It's just the reality of it. The Mets are just they went all out a couple of years ago. They spent the money, they brought in the big players, and they had to take a step back. It wasn't working, it didn't click. So they had a reset. They could say that Yamamoto is that guy that really kicks off their reset, especially teaming him up with Senga. Especially if it's true that he really wants to play with another Japanese player. We don't have that's an ammunition we don't have. So that also, so there's so many different ways that this can be looked at. There's so many pros and cons to this whole thing. But my gut tells me at the end of the day, the Yankees will come out on top because of the fact that it's the way that the roster is constructed, the strength of our pitching staff. He could be the superstar without the pressure of being the superstar. I think that's going to fit very well for him here. I think that's another angle that needs to be explored as well. Valens, what do you think?
No, I completely agree with you with the fact that the Mets went all in on Verlander and Max Scherzer, and it didn't work. They went all in offered unlimited amounts of money to Lindor and signed Verlander for crazy money and Max, and it hasn't worked. It didn't work for them. So they've had to take a step back. They had to get a new general manager in who I think is going to do a good job for them long term. But they have had to take a step back. If Yamamoto is who I think he is, I think he wants to be in a winning team. I think he wants to help a team win a championship. The Mets aren't there yet. They aren't close to being there yet. The Yankees are still ahead of the Mets in that regard. They got Soto. They're geared up and they're ready to go. And then from what I'm hearing, they ain't done even after Yamamoto. They want to continue to build this thing. They want to go all in this year. So they've picked a direction. They want to go all in. Sean Browning's got a great point here. His idols are Matsui and Tanaka, Yankee legends. That's what I'm saying. Some people will maybe say that I'm not being objective and enough for thinking about the Mets, but let's be honest. You know, when a young player in Japan are growing up, they're watching their favorite baseball players playing. A lot of them are wearing Yankee pinstripes. Matsui, Tanaka. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what it is
a lot of sway. The Yankees have won championships with fantastic players in the past, and young guys from around the world are going to be watching it because you know that's what I'm saying. The Yankees are far more marketable out with the United States than any other franchise in sports, I'd argue. So it holds a lot of sway. It really does. I mean, as an expat, I'm in Scotland. You don't see any other hats in Europe other than Yankee hats. The occasional Dodger hat, but it's all Yankee hats. So, as I'm saying, out with the United States, it's the Yankees, man. That's the most marketable asset. So, of course the Yankees are going to hold that, and they have a team that's more able to compete. So they've got that selling point on that over what the Mets have. The Mets just have an unlimited amount of money. So whatever the Yankees offer, Cohen can offer more. I'm not discrediting that because anybody would be dumb to turn down, say, if the Mets offer $20 million more than what the Yankees are offering. A lot of people would seriously have to consider it. But if Yamamoto wants to compete, possibly win a championship this year, have the prestige, be beloved mostly around the world. It's the Yankees. That's the choice, right?
And I want to give a quick shout out, Mr. Billy Valdez. There's nothing on the meeting. No, we haven't heard any feedback from that, but I did want to highlight you because I just got notification that you have just subscribed to our channel. So we appreciate you, Billy Valdez. Welcome to the family. But I think it's unfair to bring up the championships that we've won because it's been so long. I think a bigger selling point when you're talking about with Matsui and Tanaka is the way that they were treated by the fans and the support that they got when they were successful. I think that's a bigger thing because you might see by the end of Senga's career with the Mets, if he shows to be a legitimate player, then the Mets will have that argument like we do with Tanaka and Matsui, and all the Kuroda, even when we had Ichiro here at the end of his career, how he was revered by they were all favored by the fans. Then they'll have that argument, where they can parade out Kodai Senga and be like, look at, and then he could vouch for the Mets, saying throughout my whole career they were a high class organization. The Mets are still trying to find their new identity with a new owner. We've heard it all, with Cashman's Beautiful Money and King Cohen, and God, it drives me up a freaking wall. But and I had a little battle back and forth with some Mets fans on X about that. But it's the Yankees need to focus more on the fan base, on how they treat the fans how they treat the players that are successful, not parade around the championships, because I think we're too far away from '09 right now to be like we're a championship team because we haven't been. Don't sell the false narrative and take out, the box of rings that have been collecting dust for 14 years. So I think that's something that you have to, it's thin ice with that.
Yeah, but still, the great thing about rings is they never expire.
Oh, that's true too.
And like, for instance, how did Pat Riley convince LeBron James to join the Heat? He put his rings on the table. Like, it does help. It really does help. If you want to sell a franchise to a star and you've got something in your locker that nobody else has, you goddamn use it. Trust me. So if the Yankees do have the rings, they'd be dumb not to. Now, if that's their only selling point, that's a problem.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But the Yankees do have a team that's more ready to win a championship this coming year. That's what you can sell them on. You can sell them on the fact you got Garrett Cole, got Aaron Judge, you got Soto, primed and ready for bear. The Mets don't have that, man.
I mean, I made the statement during one of last year's, during last season's run that we were on, where I was retiring the 27 ring argument until we won again. I'm just trying to be consistent with it. I'm not going to be like, well, parade the rings out and then they can go back on the tape. Last year, you said you didn't want to hear about it anymore. So I'm just trying to be consistent for myself. But
I don't talk about the rings anymore. I agree with you. I'm just saying that if you want a selling point, it is a pretty big selling point.
No, it can't. That can't be the thing that you both your chest.
It can't be your only selling point.
Yeah.
But the Yankees don't have.
I would market
listed for half an hour all the things that they could sell out with the championships.
Yeah, I think the biggest selling point is the fan base and how they've treated the Japanese Tanaka. I don't think we ever threw shade at him. Maybe a start or two. What is he doing? But here's a guy that we paraded around when we thought he was going to go down for Tommy John with the UCL tear, and he's like, you're not taking me out of this. You're not taking me away from this. You're paying me to pitch. I'm going to pitch. I'm not getting paid to sit home. And he pitched through it. Number 18 is also another argument, Dev. You're right. Demon D. Yeah, the Mets are like the Jets, just Luga. Poor Jets. I'm not
No, not poor Jets. He's right.
But they're the fans of the Jets. I feel bad for them. But any team that has to go through that, believe me, it can't be fun. But Dev, you're right. Yeah, the 18 thing. It's there are so many. That's why I was saying there are so many variables that come into play here on how the Yankees can finalize this deal and just get this going. Even Sean has. We even cheered for Urabu. It was short-lived, but we cheered for him.
Opinion of everybody in the chat plus Tats. So the Yankees met Yamamoto after he had a meeting with the Mets. So how would you guys look upon that? Would you look upon that as advantage Yankees, the fact that they had the last meeting with him, or advantage Mets that they had the first meeting with him? Now, my opinion is well known. At the start of the show, I said it's advantage Yankees. I think that it holds sway. I think that personally, he got the offer from the Mets, and then he went to the Yankees going, this is what they've offered. Can you get close to that? And I'll come to you guys. I think that's how it worked. But let's ask everyone in the chat and Uncle T.
I think it's I said it. It's advantage Yankees. The one thing that cannot be discounted, Jason's brought it up. NFE, we've all been talking in the private chat that they've been following the Yankees for a year now. There was a Yankee representative and scout at every one of his games. Cashman was there for when he threw the no-hitter. He got to see that in person. So I think that that's one of those. When you talk about, it's not even just the Yankee prestige and the pride. Japanese players have pride to their own level. And they respect the efforts that get put into it. When it's not like other teams that waited till he was here and then want to be like, oh, I you've been on my mind all year. No, you weren't. What effort did you put in? I think the Yankees do have the advantage because they put the work in to scout him, to make sure that he knew that we've got our eye on you for this whole year.
Okay, so Mr. Acevedo actually has a different take on this. So Tony's last meeting in was given to the Angels. That doesn't mean anything. Players have a decision already, but some are looking for the money and wait to see who offers more. So I believe that he's saying that he's probably already made his decision, but he's going to continue to see if he could maybe raise the offers significantly on both sides. That's an interesting take. What we got from my man Mazza. I knew a second meeting was going to take place just because Jack Curry said it last week. Good point too.
Yeah, see, that's the contradiction with the reporting.
Because
then it came out that it was an impromptu meeting that but we were talking about it a week ago. So that's why it's very. You got to take some of these reports with a grain of salt. You can't take it for truth. See something. If you see something that's put out there, just put it in Google. Do your research on it. Because if only one person's saying it, most likely it's not true. And know what sources that you're going to listen to. Like Jack Curry, an excellent source. Brian Hoke is an excellent source. You got Jeff Passan. He's very cautious with what he puts out. Even I don't know if he's still in the chat, but Andy Martino. He's been hit or miss, but he's been more hit this year.
I respect anybody who works the beat. I really do, and I'm sure that they all have sources that they trust. As you say, this is the fun bit, though. This is the fun bit. This is the bit where no matter who you root for and which hat you got wearing, it's everyone's coming together like, all right, is he coming here or is he going elsewhere? What does these sources mean? What does this mean? This is the fun bit. This is what we love. This is what baseball can really offer, man. This kind of excitement. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
What's this team gonna offer? It's cool. This is definitely fun. It's fun that the Yankees are involved again because for the last few off seasons they've kind of sat out, and so this is definitely more our bag.
No, this is why I find the off season to be fun, because you can look at all the different variables, multiple angles, get different takes. Because it's not fun when everybody's on the same page. You need that debate. That's why we like who so much. When he's in the chat. So it's when Heyman, Morosi have their bomb. Yeah, we all know that. Believe me, the arson judge, and I still laugh at the Yankees. When they put out the John Soda. As opposed to Juan Soto. And I think TC nails it. TC, what's going on, bro? I think TC, because they're relevant again. And I think that's something I want to get into near the tail end here, is the Yankees just have a different attitude this year. Wednesday by 12 p.m. we will get a new decision. People need to go 13 hours with Martin.
Poor Mario. Oh, my God. He was going through it, man. After about hour 12, he was going through it, man. Like, I hope he's okay now. He was going through it. He was ending up like the girl from the Blair Witch Project at the end of the movie, where she's slobbering mess. So salute to those guys, man. It's unbelievable. Imagine going 12 hours and putting together phenomenal coverage of the Yankees for all of us. Like, I can't say enough about those guys. Those guys are just fucking elite. Pete is just the man. So, could you imagine doing 13 hours, Uncle T?
That's a lot of coffee.
That's a lot of coffee. I do like coffee.
But no, I would try it. I wouldn't be shy. I wouldn't shy away from doing it. I mean, the Chronicles team is big enough where it doesn't have to be the same person. There's 7 of us that could rotate for all those times. But that we might have to challenge ourselves on that. We got to talk to the team this offseason. Yeah,
maybe we should.
Yeah, but and Fuego,
another thing,
thank you for joining us.
The Yankees have been discussing a plan B, or even a plan A, along with Yamamoto. They ain't done after Yamamoto. They say that they're actually interested in building a supercharged bullpen, and one of the names that has been mentioned is, in fact, Hader.
Yeah, D-Rod. It'll be like a telethon. But
they may go closer. They may look for a closer.
We still need a closer.
Yeah. They're looking to go all in. And so they're looking at possibly building a supercharged bullpen along with Yamamoto. But if it doesn't work out with Yamamoto, there's a chance that, as I discussed in a previous podcast, that they'd engage with Montgomery. That still stands. And they may go in closer as well. And just like what Tats predicted,
I didn't say his name.
He doesn't even need to say his name in the mirror. He just needs to think his name. And boom, he appears. Li. What is up, Li? Thank you for joining, my guy.
But I think what's making, to what TC was saying, right, with the way this all season has felt, is the Yankees haven't settled this whole season. It's not like they're sitting in Waco and we can't think about this until this is done. They got 8 hands going across everything, trying to see what they can do to fix this team. They've been aggressive. It's not like, in past years, if they would have met with the Dodgers, right, it'd be one of those. The Dodgers are already in there. They got they're going to go over the tax threshold, and they just automatically pivot, and they give up on a player. They're not doing that this year. They've been stuck on Yamamoto, and they're still making other deals around it. So, even though we had the Verdugo trade, the Soto deal, they never took their foot off the gas of anything that they've been trying to do. So I think that also is what's giving the offseason that credibility that we're all having fun with it. We're not just sitting there screaming for an hour. Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? I mean, they're involved, and they're not done.
So Rob's dad is a good one. This is something that we might need to go back to after the Yamamoto discussions are over in a quiet time. Let's think about the sayings that Sterling is going to announce when Soto hits the bomb. Because it's going to have to be really hokey. Like Giancarlo, no si posto parlo. It will be something similar where it'll be like, I think it'll be either Spanish. You'll be trying out his Spanish on Soto, or it'll be like Soto hits a bombo or some sort of nonsense. It's going to be really hokey. No disrespect to Sterling, but that's his thing. But we're going to revisit that because we need to go back into the Yankee hot stove. But it gives us some ideas. So everybody in the chat, everybody who watches this, think about what Sterling's home run call will be. Mazahel Juan Soto hits a solo. That's a possibility. I quite like that. So we're going to go back to that. So let's get back to where we were at. Anyway, the Yankees are very much interested in Montgomery from what I hear. And And yes, they're interested in building a supercharged bullpen. All music to my ears. It sounds like they do have a backup plan if Yamamoto doesn't work out. So it's still gonna be an active offseason even after Yamamoto. It's not gonna be a case of right, we're done. Good job. We're ready to go. They're gonna continue to look to build this thing.
Yep. No, it's definitely they've got a lot of options. Right. And the one thing that I've been stressing is we're not dealing with a trade. We're not trying to retain somebody from our own roster. He's a true free agent, and it's going to be his decision of which team he goes to. And I think to this point, there's nothing the Yankees have done that would be like, oh, they should have done this better. I think they've done everything right. So it's just his decision. That's the scary part of it, because you could offer him an Ohtani style contract. Doesn't guarantee that he's going to want to take it. So that's where the nerves set in. That's where you say, all right, what else can we do? What else can we sell him on where we're not overselling where we lose the deal? It's got to be very calculated. I know Frank is a loyalist in the comment sections after our shows. Good to see you during the show, Frank. Hope you're enjoying it. Yankees interested in Montgomery after saying he wasn't good enough to start for them in past seasons. That's the trick with Monty. I don't think he wants to come back. I think the Yankees have an interest in him. It's still a pitching depth. But
I think Montgomery is interested in coming back. It's just he does have a point. Frank does have a point. I mean, let's face it. Would the Yankees admit that they screwed the pooch on Montgomery? They didn't utilize him correctly, and then they traded him for not the value that he deserved. So it was a mistake all around. As I say, if they developed Montgomery's fastball like the other teams did, then that's the reason why he's become an elite pitcher. The Yankees just used his secondary pitches more. It was his fastball. You use your fastball, and you use your secondary pitches to work around the fastball. The other teams were smart enough to do that, but the Yankees weren't. But maybe the Yankees have wised up. I don't know. Maybe the Yankees have wised up. I like Montgomery. He's very, very good. TC Steels is right. They took Montgomery for granted.
Yep. And we got 61 people in the chat. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you have not yet, hit that sub button if you are enjoying the show. If you are new to watching us on the live stream, drop a thumbs up in the comments so we can give you your credit for hanging out with us. And this way we know who's new and who's not. We're usually pretty good with pointing them out. But we do not want to miss anybody. We want to give everybody their respect.
And if he's right, I don't see. I said even if they land Yamamoto, they need to get another starter. That's right. I did say NFB this time. I'm screwing up our goats.
Yeah, Zaki's tricky. I don't know what they're going to do if they, is Suzuki the plan B? It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. Suzuki, it'll cost less. It'll definitely cost less money. And he's got, the age will be a factor. And so, you got this comment here.
That's what they offered them. Good fight. Jesus Christ.
That's rumored to have offered 12 years and over 400. Is that serious?
I mean, we don't know.
Did the Yankees match or pivot? If that's the offer, fuck it, pivot. Pivot on that.
Let's just hope that isn't the case. But that's always the threat because the Mets can just go, right.
Well, yeah.
Let's just offer whatever it takes. There is always that threat.
Yeah, and then another new name that it's in the chat. Thanks to all the new people that are joining us. If you are enjoying it, hit the like button and hit that sub button. Mo S. Sasaki isn't coming over until 2024. I think even though he's going to get posted, was he posted yet? I thought he got posted already. Or is it? Or are they waiting till Yamamoto?
Chris the Flash
going on, Chris the Flash.
We're Chris the Flash. We're getting all the guys in here. Everybody in here. We love it. Hit the like
gang's
button.
all here.
Get the heart. Hit that heart thing, whatever that means. And hit the subscribe button so that you know whenever we go live. Because we will go live as soon as the Yamamoto deal goes through wherever he goes.
Okay, thanks, Ally. I knew he would be on it. Sasaki has to wait until January 15th to be posted. That's actually a benefit to a lot of the teams if that were in on Yamamoto. Because either the team that gets him, they could also get Sasaki. But it's also going to drive up the price because the other teams are going to want to pick up some, try to find a player they missed out. Then now most saying that Friday was the deadline. All right, well, we'll try to get to the bottom of that. I know a lot of friends of ours are very in the weeds on that. So
almost 70 people in the chat. We love you guys. This has been awesome. What a day. Let's go.
So the other thing we keep talking. You're also hearing about the one guy that's dropped off the map was Matsui because of the size of his hand scared a lot of people away. Do you think he comes back into the mix as the offseason progresses?
I'm not discounting anything. Yeah. Which closer would you guys ideally want? Because the next thing for me after starting pitching is addressed, whether it's Yamamoto, Montgomery, whoever. Closer is so important to me.
You'll keep Matsui
internally on Matsui on a closer, or do you think they're going to go maybe get one from free agency? Uncle T?
I feast on the Cleveland. I feast on Cleveland. I try to get Class A.
Okay.
Hater.
I mean, I've heard Hader's name going around.
Yeah, Sean, Class A or Crochet. Life Journey points out, I can never pronounce his name right. We'll just say Umaga's still out there.
Say that again. Imanaga.
Yep. That was an After Dark show, and it was.
Was that a couple of whiskeys deep?
One shot deep.
Well, that's usually enough for me.
Yep. But no, we just had a lot of fun with that. NFTs are. I know who's laughing behind their screens, but
I'd seriously consider Hader. I would.
Hader did. Angelo points out that Hader did cut his hair. So did DeGrom. When he was on the trade market. It's. I don't know. It's trade and free agency and two different things, but I don't know if I want to. How could you say he has no shot? Everybody, every team had. So it's just going to be a little more of an expensive trade. That's all. It's a trade.
Mr. Barros, you guys think about Luzardo from the Marlins? He throws high 90s.
I like Luzardo. I had him on my list for trade acquisitions.
Williams could be had by trade more than Class A.
Because I had Luzardo and Garrett from the Marlins are two players I would look to try to get.
And if he would pass on Hader, Medina definitely would pass on Hader too. So we're very mixed on.
It's mixed.
On Hader,
And if he's still, with the strike zone, he's still on Jordan. Brings up Jordan Hicks.
This is a good point from Sean. Hader complains about 4 or 5 out saves. Yeah, I like my closer to be more available when required rather than complain about his usage.
Let me see if I can reach my notes real quick.
Hader's
note down
his deliverance. Ding, 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 ding. What about both Hader and Williams? Now we're really going for it. But I do believe that Cashman wants to build a supercharged bullpen. He's always been a big fan of building super bullpens, so I wouldn't discount anything that they do.
Yeah. There's also the internal options.
Maybe Uncle Tat should rename it instead of Pinstripe After Dark to Pinstripe Off the Rails. Can't wait for no rails. Cough, cough. I mean After Dark.
No, it's the After Dark shows are something else if you've never seen it. It's Mondays at midnight, and it's the conversations go where they go. There's no. It's half the time we don't even talk about baseball. We just kind of let loose a little bit. Just talk about any random thing. But I would be careful with Hader now I'm gonna get off of the whole 4 or 5 out save situation. Right? I want to take a different look at it. The reason that I would not go right after Hader is the money that it's gonna cost. All right. I think because between Soto, crossing our fingers with Yamamoto, you still have Judge on the contract, Cole on the a lot of big contracts. You still have another year before more money comes off the books. I don't want to have anything handcuffed with not being able to. Soto's going to go right back to free agency. It's not like we traded him and we have him for a couple of years. So we're going to need some wiggle room in the budget. Because as much as the Yankees are exciting us with the way that they're willing to spend, that spending is only going to go so far. Yeah, and I understand. Look, nobody's saying that you're wrong. We're just bringing a different point to it. Well, at least I am. All right, I'm trying to look. I just said I'm getting off of the save situation. This is the other reason why I would not go after Hader. It's the money. And so it's not tunnel vision. And Steven points out the next 3 years, $100 million coming off the books. That's what I'm saying. We're going to need that money for other acquisitions. Our bullpen is strong enough where we all want to get a closer, but it's not crucial. If we have to go with Luis Hill, if we have to have a rotation of closers, it's not. I don't think that's going to hurt us. I really don't, because if we have the right rotation with Cole, Yamamoto, and a fresh over on a fresh season with Rodon, you're going to get a lot of innings eaten by your starting bullpen, your starting rotation, and not have to put all the pressure on the bullpen. So they're not going to be burned out by August like they have last year and the year before that. So that's also, you're going to have the way it's all set up. The Yankees will have a very stretched out bullpen where you're not going to see by the All-Star break guys like Marinaccio that have already thrown 100 innings. You know what I mean? They're not going to be exhausted by the time they get to the finish line.
So you're not in on Hader. I'm actually going to go a different angle, and I will be all in on Hader. Looking at Hader's stats is partly why. 2.4 WAR, 128 ERA, 85 strikeouts in 56 innings, 33 saves, and an ERA of 128. I repeat. There's not a single name in the Yankee bullpen that is better than Josh Hader, in my opinion, especially after losing Mike King. So I'm sorry. Like, I would definitely go with Josh Hader. However, there's the MLB.com have the rankings of where Hader's going to land. The most likely team is the Dodgers. Second are the Rangers, and the Yankees are third on the list of most likely landing spots for Josh Hader. But I would love Josh Hader to be our closer. I think that would really, really secure this thing for us. We need a closer that you can reliably know that when you have a lead going into the ninth inning, that 9 times out of 10 it's going to get done.
Yeah, well, I don't see the closer role as a priority at this stage. I think if you get the right rotation, starting rotation aligned, I think the bullpen arms that we have are more than enough to get through a season. I really do.
Really? An
Yes.
entire season?
Oh, I do.
You're just like me. I know you don't trust Clay Holmes as much as I do.
No,
so how would you?
No, I don't.
How would you align the bullpen then? If say we don't go after another name the rest of the offseason, how would your bullpen be aligned?
I would have my 7, 8, 9. I still have faith in Loaisiga. I think he's going to come back strong. I loved him. A couple of years ago, you remember, I wanted him as our closer. I thought he had the stuff.
He's fallen off,
but he's fallen off a little bit, so he's down in the 7. Holmes, that's my 8th inning guy. Yeah. I don't want him even touching a ball in the 9th inning in the dugout. Just don't give him. I would trust Marinaccio as the closer.
Okay.
But I have Hill pitching in spring training. I want to see where he's at, because I think Luis Hill could be a closer as well.
I agree that Luis Hill has closer stuff. I mean, it's just location with him, and you really need a closer that has location, because as we've seen from
that's why I'm saying
you can have all the elite stuff in the world, but if you don't locate your pitches, and if he's right, Marinaccio was a closer, I would hit the brakes on that. I'd go Hill before Marinaccio. Hill's got better stuff than Marinaccio. He really does. He's got better stuff. He's got no-hit stuff. The only thing is with location with him, and we need to see that. We need to see how he would transition, because he's a starter. He started off as a starter, so we need to see how he transition in over a 3-out situation. So I'm not sure about that necessarily. Another name which we're bypassing is Efros. Efros has a nice kind of sidearm delivery, which could be interesting, but I don't know whether he'd be really closer material, but he's a good setup man. There's a lot of questions. Well, I think the Hader makes a lot of sense. Just look at those numbers I read out: 128 ERA, 85 strikeouts, and 56. I mean, those are good numbers. 85 strikeouts in 56 innings.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not arguing that he's not a good. He wouldn't be a good closer. It's more for me, how it fits.
Well, how would he not
I'm
fit?
not sold. I'm not sold on him fitting yet.
Okay.
I haven't. It's hard to digest,
So Ron
especially
Marinaccio.
putting. I don't like putting a lot of money into. I'm still scarred by Chapman. Putting the money into the closer to just have it implode.
Okay, but then let's look as a matter of comparison. Ron Marinaccio, 4-5 record, an ERA of just under 4, 3.99. Just 56 strikeouts in 47 innings. And a 0.4 WAR. He doesn't.
Is that career or last year?
This is all last year. So there's really not really a comparison there, is there? I don't know how you could even consider him as a closer. Let's face it. There has to be better options out there, guys. There has to be.
I try to do internal. I know it sounds boring. It's not the the offseason hype that we've been having. But
no, I mean, I see your point, but I'm just looking at the other options, and I mean, Loaizaga. At least Loaizaga has the stuff that that could do it. Last year he had a 3.06 ERA. But not the strikeouts. Six strikeouts in 17 innings. He doesn't really strike guys out. I like closers with strikeout material. So, I mean, none of these names are close to what Hader did. Maybe a better one would be Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes had good numbers last year. As much as he drove us crazy and he put himself into situations that we wanted to, we all had to buy new TVs.
Yeah.
But he did finish the year. I mean, he was 4-4 with a 2.86 ERA.
Yeah.
71
strikeouts in 63 innings. Not great.
But it's more than, the closer, I got to, I'm going to back off on the closer. I got to really deep dive into this because we've been putting so much focus with Yamamoto. I want to give the closer role some due diligence. I think Wednesday, I'm going to do my homework, and Wednesday we'll start it off with the closer role.
Unless Yamamoto was signed by then.
That changes everything.
Yeah, obviously, I do agree with you. We'll need to do a show on the closer situation because we do need to do a research.
I want to do my
I'm just
homework.
Putting it out there that, like just dismissing Hader out of hand just doesn't make sense when you look at 85 strikeouts in 56 innings and everyone else is not even in that stratosphere. Holmes is erratic, far too erratic for me.
But so is David Robinson. Who we all deemed Houdini.
I love D-Rob. I love D-Rob.
So did I. I always liked him. I'm not opposed to if we bring Peralta back. There's so many options. I think the closer role deserves a little more attention than just trying to do a quick take on it. It needs its due diligence on that. But that is going to wrap things up for us on this Monday. Thank you to everybody that was in the chat. The new subscribers, the new voices, the new takes. We appreciate every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. Hit the sub button if you haven't already done so.
This is weird. I'm gonna spelling Molly. Do y'all ever think it's just a script circus maximus? I don't know what that means. I don't know where you're going with that. I don't want to be rude, but I don't get it.
Anyway,
but we appreciate all the music.
Say, whatever happens with Yamamoto, we will go live. So
yes,
we will have our takes on this. I think that we're going to find out within the next 48 hours, and that will be very exciting either way. I think we're gonna land them, and I love the fact that we can maybe get to 500 very, very soon as well. So
yes,
a big thank you to everyone, and we'll see you guys soon. Uncle T, close us out, baby.
That's right. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that sub button, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the stranger standing on the corner, wash their windows. This has been the Pinside Chronicles, and as I always say, wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.